Bonjour! Today's lesson is on le conditionnel passé. Please be sure to fill out your copy of the notes and bring any questions you may have with you to class. Le conditionnel passé is used to describe what would have happened if, in hindsight, you had known something different, if you had been able to change the circumstances, or if anything had been different. So for this example, in your place, I would not have taken my car. I would have gone to town by bus. We can see that in this sentence, we know that the person did take their car instead of going by bus. But now that they're reflecting back on their decision, they would have changed it. So when you're conjugating le conditionnel passé, we put avoir or être in the conditional and then add le participe passé, or what we consider the second half of the passé composé. So here are some examples. We've got the verb prendre, and we can see that we have our subject, je, our helping verb, avoir, which we've put in the conditional, and then what we call the past participle, pris. So that says, I would have taken, now it's you would have taken, he would have taken, we would have taken, and y'all would have taken, or you formal, and they would have taken. Here's an example with the verb aller. And the verb aller in the passé composé takes être as its helping verb. So in le conditionnel passé, être is going to be its helping verb, but just conjugated in the conditional. We can see that this is a combination of conditional and past used together in one sentence. We also notice that for the verb aller, we see that there is agreement in either gender or number because the helping verb is être. We also have an example with a reflexive verb. So we have the subject je, the reflexive pronoun me, our helping verb être in the conditional, and then what we call the past participle amuser. And again, reflexive verbs also follow rules of agreement in these tenses. So we have the verb vouloir, would have, liked in the conditional passé is how you would conjugate it. And it is a verb that is very often used in this tense. We also have pouvoir, so could have. And devoir, should have. Just like with the regular conditional, I would like, I could do something, you should do something. These three verbs, would have, could have, and should have, are very common in the conditional past. So the reason we're looking at le conditionnel passé is because we can use it in sentences that use the word si, or if. We have a first example, a second example, and then now a third example of a sentence that uses si and different grammatical structures. Let's jump back up to the first one. If we say if, then we can use a verb in the present tense, and then when we finish the idea of that sentence, the second verb will be in the future. We learned this already. Our example in English, if I study, I will pass the test. This can be taken as general advice or as advice for something that is about to occur in the future. Take a look at the middle, and we have si plus the imparfait, and then we would finish the idea with the conditional. If I studied, I would pass. Now this is something that the situation is hypothetical. Well, you know, if I had a test coming up and if I studied, then I would pass it. That's something that you know to be true, but we don't know if we will pass if we don't study. So that's where the condition needs to be met. if you take a look at the example of the third sentence, si, so if, then we can put a verb in the pluscuparfait, and we can finish the idea with le conditionnel passé. So we could have combined these notes with the notes in the pluscuparfait because you often use them together, but you are also able to use them separately, which is why we separated them. Let's take a look at the example sentence in English for si plus le pluscuparfait and then conditionnel passé. It shows us, if I had studied, I would have passed. And so this sentence expresses hindsight. So we're saying that maybe we've taken the test already and that we didn't pass. And then we're saying to ourselves, well, if I had studied, I would have passed. So not only did all of this already happen, but we're now thinking of a hypothetical situation attached to it. So I understand that this might be a lot to take in. Please take the time to read through especially this slide one more time, and then make sure to bring any questions that you may have with you to class. A bientôt.